Delish. So the first thing we need to get started on is obviously those burgers. So I've got a pound of ground chicken here. Now the thing I love lately about ground chicken in general is it's pretty much always on sale. You know? You can get a pound of ground chicken for like $5 sometimes, which is an absolute dream. So I've got that pound of meat right in a big bowl, and now I'm just gonna add in some stuff. Now, chicken, unlike beef, tends to be a little bit more delicate, so you don't want to, it's a little stickier. So you wanna dry it out, which sounds bad, but it's actually gonna make it good. Stick with me here. You know when you start saying something and you're like, that doesn't sound good. It's gonna be good, don't worry about it. So the first thing I'm gonna add is a binder. So for that, I'm going in with about ½ cup of breadcrumbs. Now, I'm just using the plain breadcrumbs that you get in that tub, kind of in the bakery section. They're usually kind of dusty looking, but they are gonna be perfect for this. You don't wanna use panko, because that's gonna give a little bit too much crunch and texture. These ones are seasoned already, which is gonna bring more seasoning in. You can also use the plain ones, that'll be good. Now into there, for a little bit of moisture, as opposed to using an egg, which is pretty normal in some sort of chicken burger mixture, I'm gonna go in with mayonnaise, which sounds kind of funny. I know. Guys, mayonnaise is my secret ingredient in so many things. The mayonnaise is going to bring it together and give it moisture, but the thing I love is that there is egg in here. There's also a bit of oil in here and flavoring. So it's gonna bring a lot of different notes, which is absolutely perfect. So 2 tablespoons of that mayonnaise is gonna go in. Perfect. Then we're gonna go in with some herbs. So in classic kind of Greek cuisine, you gotta have some dill. I love dill. So about 2 tablespoons of beautiful dill. And I'm also gonna do a little bit of mint. Now, if mint isn't your bag, feel free to leave it out, but it really adds a nice touch into these burgers. Again, about 2 tablespoons just so those leaves picked. I love mint. If you grow mint, do not put it in the same pot as anything else because it takes over. All right, now I'm just gonna chop that up. Nice and fine. You can go chunky as well if you're feeling it. I'm gonna go on the finer side. Immediately though, this smells so good. It's bright, it's fresh, it's delicious. If you wanted to as well, you could throw some parsley in here, a little bit of oregano. Oops, anything you want will be delish. So I'm gonna go in with those herbs. And then I wanna add, obviously, a little bit of garlic, because you gotta have garlic in a burger. So I'm going in with 2 cloves, just minced right on into the mix. So I've got those there, and I just go over with a rasp. This makes sure that garlic is really nice and fine. So every single bite is gonna have a little bit of that garlic in there, which is a dream. This is huge. I'm gonna do half of this clove. I really am into garlic lately. It's huge. Like, whoever is growing garlic is doing a really good job at making jumbo garlic. All right, about half of that one. Add that in. Then sticking with the rasp, I'm also gonna add in the zest of half of a lemon. Sounds kind of strange, but it's gonna bring brightness into these. It's gonna be really, really tasty. So just zest over that lemon. And I always like zesting over the bowl because any of those essential oils are just gonna kind of shoot out of that lemon right into the bowl, and you're gonna get the max flavor, which is gonna be a dream. All right. Now we're gonna add in some spices. This is where you raid your spice cupboard. So the first thing I need is ½ teaspoon of cumin. I love cumin. It's smoky, it's a little bit lemony. It's really, really tasty. So ½ teaspoon of that is gonna go on in. Then I'm going in with ½ teaspoon of dry oregano. Now, if you used fresh oregano, you don't need to add the dry, but it does have a little bit of a different flavor, which I really, really like. Again, kind of lemony, little herby, obviously. Then this is where you get to decide if you're a spicy gal like me, go in with anywhere from like ½ teaspoon to a teaspoon of chili flakes. If you're not, maybe just a little pinch. I'm going big because I like things spicy. Perfect, perfect. All right, season that up with a little bit of salt, just about ½ teaspoon of that. Little bit of fresh pepper as well. Perfect. Now this mixture is looking great, but as I said before, chicken is a little bit more tender and delicate than beef, so I like to get 2 forks and kind of just like toss it up just until it comes together into a nice mixture. Now, again, you see how tender that chicken is. It doesn't stay kind of separated like ground beef does. So it's gonna come together really, really easily. Basically, just keep mixing it until it looks nice and combined, and all of those herbs and those breadcrumbs are all over everything. This is enough for 4 beautiful chicken burgers. So what I like to do is get my chicken mixture all mixed, and then I kind of draw an X through it. This is a very rough estimation of equal parts. So just do a little X. Feeling good? So that's about the size of 1 chicken burger. Now, before I start shaping that, I am gonna put a little bit of oil in my pan. I've got a pan here over about medium-high heat. I want a nice high temperature because these burgers aren't overly thick, so they're gonna cook nice and quick, but you do want nice golden brown color. Then we're gonna get that chicken and form it into a burger. Now, I have a little bit of a tip when it comes to forming really any sort of burger, whether you're doing a beef burger or a chicken burger, is form it into a nice patty. If the mixture is a little bit sticky, wet your hands with a little bit of tap water. That's gonna make it so it doesn't stick to your hands. I know, it's a good tip. But then also in addition to that, what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your thumb and just press it down in the middle. What's gonna happen there is that meat tends to contract and kind of like ball up in the middle. If you don't do this, you end up with a giant meatball. We don't want that, we want a burger. So I'm gonna pop that into my pan. Let it do its thing. I'm gonna go give my hands a bit of a wash while that gets cooking. But now you just get to make toppings. And toppings are personally my very favorite part of any burger. You could top this off with any sort of classic stuff, your classic ketchup, mustard, relish. But I wanted to stick with that kind of Greek theme. So what I'm gonna do is quickly make a pickle because I can never say no to a pickle. I love a pickle. So over here, I have got about 1/4 of a cucumber that I've just thinly sliced up. And I'm gonna pickle that with just a little bit of lemon juice. I used half of that lemon zest in those burgers. So I'm gonna go onto those cucumbers with a bit of that juice. The little bit of acidity is gonna just pickle it slightly and make it absolutely delicious. Little bit of salt. You could also add in some pepper, but I'm just gonna add in a bit of dill. Again, dill pickles. Yes, please. I love a dill pickle. Chop that on up, pop that on in. Give that a little bit of a toss as well. Perfect. Now, this is obviously not pickled. It's gonna just be nice and bright and fresh. But if you wanted to, you could put a little vinegar in there, set it aside, and pickle it a bit more if you feel like it. All right, that's looking beautiful to me. Our burger, she's not cooked, but this is TV, so we have some right over here, which is a complete dream. So I've got those nice and beautiful. See how golden brown those are? Because we press that thumb in, they're not doing that meatball situation. They're gonna be absolutely beautiful. So I'm gonna bring these on over here. And then if you wanted, you could do a classic regular bun for these burgers. But I don't know if you've been like, you know, perusing the bread aisle of your grocery store. But there's these like pita bun situations. They're already split, so I've just toasted those up in the oven. We've got some here. Gonna pop them down. And then you're just gonna build a beautiful burger. Again, this would be beautiful on a regular bun, but I'm gonna pop down the bottom, and then we get to dress it up. So the first thing I'm gonna do, weirdly, going on with some tzatziki. Again, we're doing Greek style. Just store-bought tzatziki is gonna be beautiful. A little bit of, I'm gonna go feta now, because obviously, probably gonna do layers of feta. I love olives. I know not everybody loves them, but if we're doing a Greek, right, thank you. My best friend, Marissa, does not like olives, and I'm always like, this is the only thing we don't agree on. Yeah. They're salty and briny and totally delicious. They add just a pop to anything they touch. All right, now we're gonna grab one of those beautiful burgers. They're golden brown. That chicken gets really, really crispy, and because of that binder in there, it just brings it together, but they stay nice and juicy. So I'm gonna, actually wait, we're gonna do lettuce underneath. This is where you get to see Mary's brain working. Pop that burger right on top. Little bit of some tomato on there, maybe a little bit of red onion. And we cannot forget about those beautiful, yeah, pickles. I almost forgot. Thank you, audience, for reminding me of the pickles. Pop those right on there. That's gonna be absolutely beautiful, bright and fresh. And then I also do love a little bit of Dijon, so I'm going on with some Dijon as well. This is gonna be arguably too big of a burger, but that's always a good thing. More feta, because of course. Let's do a little bit of that. All over top, perfect. And you just sandwich that together. And doesn't that look like an absolute stone cold stunner? Hey, Mary here. What did you think? Drop your comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more of the good stuff.